हेलो मैं हूं अभिषेक सर दिस इज योर इंग्लिश क्लासरूम एक्सेल लर्निंग राइट and today in this particular video we will discuss the second part of the all American slurp. This is the second part where we will see that the Gleason's family has been invited out for a dinner at the house of the Chinese family, that means the narrator's family. Okay, so now let's read about the problems or the activities what they have done in the party. Like in the last video we saw that the activities or the funny activities, the mocking activities the Chinese family has done. So अब ये सेकेंड पार्ट में देखते हैं कि उन लोगों ने किस तरह का बिहेवियर किया है, यानी कि अमेरिकन फैमिली जब गए हैं चाइनीज फैमिली में जब डिनर पार्टी अटेंड करने, सो उन लोगों ने अभी कैसा बिहेव किया है वहां पे. ओके, सो प्लीज टेक अ पेंसिल एंड टेक द बुक जस्ट राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. The day came when my parents announced that they wanted to give a dinner party. So finally, this is the day for which the narrator was waiting eagerly. Finally, her parents decided and announced that they wanted to throw a dinner party. We had invited Chinese friends to eat with us before, but this dinner was going to be different. Why it was going to be different? Because in addition to a Chinese American family, we were going to invite the Gleasons. So why, according to the narrator, the dinner party thrown by them was going to be a different one? Because they are going to invite Gleasons also. Gee, I can hardly wait to have dinner at your house, Meg said to me. I just love Chinese food. So this is the characteristic of Meg, that she likes Chinese food, and she was also very much eager to attend the party at the narrator's family. That was a relief. Why that was a relief? Because वो लोग Chinese है, definitely they would cook Chinese food and make like Chinese food. So this was a area of relaxation or relief for the narrator. So that was a relief. Mother was a good cook, but I wasn't sure if people who ate sour cream would also eat chicken gizzard stew in soy sauce. So the narrator is quite confused. She was quite doubtful that उन लोग जो है चिकन गिज़ार्ड वो लोग पसंद करेगा या नहीं. Mother decided not to take a chance with the chicken gizzards. Since we had Western guests, she set the table with large dinner plates, which we never used in Chinese meals. So as many people were coming, so the narrator's mother had decorated and she had put all the large dinner plates on the table that the narrator they never have used in their Chinese meal. In fact, we did not use individual plates at all, but picked up food from the platter in the middle of the table and brought it directly to our rice bowls. Following the practice of Chinese American restaurants, my mother also placed large serving spoons on the platter. तो अब वहां पे मम्मी ने क्या किया था कि मम्मी ने बड़ा जो है चम्मच भी वहां पे स्पून भी वहां पे रख दिया था मम्मी ने. The dinner started well. Fine. Mrs. Gleason exclaimed at the beautifully arranged dishes of food, the colorful candied fruit in the sweet and sour meat dish, the noodle thin straight of chicken stir fried with tiny peas, and the glistening pink prawns in a ginger sauce. तो ये जो पूरा पैसेज जो है ये जो पूरा पार्ट से मार्क कर लो, the item, the menu of the dinner party. At first, I was too busy enjoying my food to notice how the guests were doing. But soon I remembered my duties. So पहले जो है narrator was gobbling and she completely forgot that she would have to see that what the other guests are eating. Then suddenly she remembered her duties. Sometimes guests were too polite to help themselves and you had to serve them with more food. तो उनको याद आया कि यार गेस्ट है, कभी ऐसा होता है कि वो लोग खुद से नहीं लेते, तो आई शुड गिव देम, आई शुड ऑफर देम मोर एंड मोर फूड. आई ग्लैंस्ड एट मेग to see if she needed more food, and my eyes nearly popped out at the sight of her plate. So at first, as Meg was her friend, so at first she looked at Meg. Okay, why? Because she wanted to know if Meg wanted more food. But as soon as the narrator saw at the plate of Meg. She was completely surprised. क्यों ऐसा क्यों हुआ? It was piled with food. The plate was piled with food. The sweet and sour meat pushed right against the chicken straight, and the chicken sauce ran into the prawns. She had been taking food from the second dish before she finished eating her helping from the first. So इतना food लिया था, इसके ऊपर ये था, उसके ऊपर ये था, उसके बाद भी Meg was taking food after food on the plate. Horrified, I turned to look at Mrs. Gleason. बड़ी बाप रे बाप कितना खा रही है वो, ऐसा सोच के the narrator looked at Mrs. Gleason. She was dumping rice out of her bowl and putting it on her dinner plate. And what she saw was completely horrified, that she was dumping rice on her plate from the bowl. Then she ladled prawns and gravy on the top of the rice and mixed everything together the way you mix sand, gravel and cement to make concrete. So उसके बाद उन्होंने ग्रेवी लिया, ओके, प्रॉन्स लिया, राइस लिया, सब कुछ लेके एकदम उसे मिक्सअप कर रही थी. कैसे मिक्सअप कर रही थी? जैसे कि हम लोग बालू, स्टेन चिप, सीमेंट, ये सब जैसे हम लोग मिक्सअप करके एक कंक्रीट वॉल बनाते हैं, सिमिलरली शी वाज आल्सो मिक्सिंग ऑल द फूड टुगेदर. I could not bear to look any longer and I turned to Mr. Gleason. उसके बाद तो पहले narrator उन्होंने she looked at Meg, okay, then she was completely surprised. She looked at Mrs. Gleason, horrified. Now she has chanced her glance to Mr. Gleason. He was chasing a pea around the plate. Chasing a pea around the plate. The Chinese है, so definitely they serve chopsticks. ओके, तो अब चॉपस्टिक से क्या हो रहा है कि एक पी था, यानी कि वो मटर छेमी जिसे कहते हैं, वो उठ नहीं रहा था एंड ही वाज चेजिंग द पी ऑन द in his plate. Several times he got it out to the edge, but when he tried to pick it up with his chopsticks, it rolled back to the center of the plate again. So बहुत बार जो है मिस्टर ग्लीजन वो ट्राई कर रहा था उसे उठाने के लिए. So whenever he tried to pick it up with the chopstick, he failed. Okay, the pea again fell on the plate. It rolled back to the center of the plate again. Finally, he put down his chopsticks and picked up the pea with his fingers. He really did. A grown man. So finally, एकदम मतलब तंग होके उन्होंने चॉपस्टिक रख दिया और उसे हाथ से लेके खा लिया. Really a grown up man. All of us, our family and the Chinese guests stopped eating to watch the activities of the Gleason. देखो वहां पे जो हुआ था, यहाँ पे सेम चीज हो रहा है. तो वहां पे जैसे कि वो लोग एक्टिविटी ऐसे कर रहा था, यानी कि नैरेटर और उनका फैमिली, कि जितना सारा अमेरिकन लोग है, दे स्टॉप्ड ईटिंग एंड दे वेर लुकिंग एट देम. सिमिलरली एट दिस डिनर पार्टी, द वे दे आर बिहेविंग, ओके, they stopped their eating. All the American families, they stopped their eating and they were staring at the Chinese Gleason's family. Okay, so I wanted to giggle. Then I caught my mother's eyes on me. She frowned and shook her head slightly, and I understood the message. The Gleasons were not used to Chinese ways, and they were just copying the best they could. For some reason, I thought of celery string. तो अब वो देख के उसे हंसी आ गई नैरेटर को. So she wanted to giggle, but somehow she glanced, or she stole the glance of her mother, and her mother just nodded like this. Why? And she understood, and she did not say. She just nodded towards the narrator, and the narrator understood what her mother actually wanted to say. Okay, the message that her mother wanted to convey to her is that the Gleason's family, they are not used to Chinese way, so they were simply copying what they were seeing over there. Like all the Chinese families, okay, they were eating their food with the chopstick, and the American family, that is Gleason's family, they were simply copying them the best they could do. So the narrator should not laugh at them. When the main courses were finished, mother brought out a platter of food. तो अब खाना हो गया तो फल लाई है, okay, a platter of fruit. I hope you were not expecting a sweet dessert, she said. Since the Chinese don't eat dessert, I don't think to prepare any. So the narrator's mother was very and very honest. She simply accepted that I hope you guys are not expecting sweet dessert. Why? Because we Chinese don't eat sweet. So I did not think to prepare sweet. Oh, I could not possibly eat dessert, cried Mrs. Gleason. I'm simply stir. My God, हम तो खाते ही नहीं because मैं पूरा भर चुका हूँ. I have eaten a lot. Meg had different ideas. When the table was cleared, she announced that she and I were going for a walk. सो मेक जो है वो उनका कुछ डिफरेंट ही आइडिया था. खाना वगैरह वगैरह हो गया तो उन्होंने कहा ठीक है चलो हम लोग घूमने चलते हैं. ठीक है, तो नैरेटर और मेक जो है दे हैव गॉन फॉर अ वॉक. आई डोंट नो अबाउट यू बट आई फील लाइक डिजर्ट, शी टोल्ड मी. अब नैरेटर मेक जो है वो बोल रही है कि मुझे पता नहीं तुम क्या सोचो लेकिन मुझे बस स्वीट खाने का मन कर रहा है. When we were outside, come on, there is a Dairy Queen down the street. I could use a big chocolate milkshake. ठीक है चलो चलो वहां पे एक दुकान है, हम लोग वहां पे एक बड़ा चॉकलेट मिल्क शेक खाएंगे, पिएंगे, सॉरी. Although I did not really want anything more to eat, I insisted on paying for the milkshakes. After all, I was still hostess. So अब मुझे खाने का मन नहीं था लेकिन फिर भी I was insisted to pay for the milkshake. Why? Because I was the hostess. Meg got her large chocolate milkshake and I had a small one. Even so, she was finishing hers while I was only half done. Toward the end, she pulled hard on her straws and went sloop sloop. सो अब नैटर बोल रही है कि वो जो मेक जो है वो बड़ा ग्लास ली थी, ठीक है, मिल्क शेक का. सो वो पी रही आराम से, तब मैंने हाफ भी नहीं पिया. और अंत में एंड पे जाके मैंने देखा कि वो स्लर्प कर रही है, वो स्लूप स्लूप करके पी रही है क्या, वो मिल्क शेक. डू यू ऑलवेज स्लर्प व्हेन यू ईट अ मिल्क शेक? द नैरेटर आस्क्ड कि जब भी तुम मिल्क शेक पीते हो तो तुम क्या ऐसे स्लर्प करके पीते हो? आई आस्क्ड बिफोर आई कुड स्टॉप माई सेल्फ. मेक ग्रीन श्योर ऑल अमेरिकन स्लर्प. तो अब मतलब नैरेटर जो है उसे ये बताना पूछना नहीं चाहिए था, ओके, लेकिन वो पूछ लिया. तो मेक ने रिप्लाई किया डेफिनेटली ऑल अमेरिकन स्लर्प. सिर्फ मैं नहीं, जितना अमेरिकन है वो सब लोग ऐसे मिल्क शेक पीती है. तो एक्चुअली बात क्या हुआ कि देखना कि चाइनीज जो होते हैं वो लोग बेसिकली दे ड्रिंक सूप्स वगैरह, ओके. सो इट मेक्स अ साउंड, it makes a sound, and the same thing happened where at the Glazer's house when they were eating, they were slurping the soup. It was, I mean, a loud sound was being made over there, and all the American families, they were simply staring at them, right? They were simply staring at them. So that is the reason somehow she felt disgraced. The narrator felt disgraced. So तभी अब जब मेक उनका फ्रेंड जब स्लर्प करके पी रही है तो उन्होंने पूछ ही लिया कि तुम लोग भी क्या ऐसे ही पीते हो? तो उन्होंने आंसर दिया कि हाँ, सिर्फ मैं नहीं, ऑल द अमेरिकन स्लर्प. सारा जितना अमेरिकन है सब कोई स्लर्प ही करके पीता है. सो दिस इज द एंड ऑफ द स्टोरी. आई होप यू गॉट द पॉइंट क्वाइट वेल. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. फिर भी अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है यू मे डेफिनेटली आस्क मी. You may write them in the comment box and I will try to answer you as soon as possible. And if you want to join my class, please, you are always welcome. The detail has been given in the description box. You can call me, you can WhatsApp me for more details. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon so that you can get regular updates whenever we post a video. Okay? मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में नेक्स्ट चैप्टर के साथ. आज के लिए बस इतना ही. गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल.